You're listening to the Cantina Cast, your home for thought-provoking Star Wars talk. Join Adler and Jonesy in breaking down the latest news, trailers, movies, and of course, your favorite characters from a galaxy far, far away.
And you're on.
So yeah, I don't know why that's going again there. How you doing?
You did it. You did it.
Let's pause this. Hold on a second here. We got all kinds of audio issues in. That's Mike, if you're not listening.
Oh, wow. I can hear him in the background there. Yeah. It's like he's here with us. Miss you, Mike.
This show's a hot mess. You know, you're leaving, so I thought, let's just play the intro twice.
Right. Let's do all the things more than once.
Yeah. Are you hearing that?
I could hear it, yeah.
That's great.
This is
That's
like
awesome.
Oddly funny that my last show is going to be a terrible edit for you. Like, we're just going to make it the worst. Oh, man. Hey, you know, while you're fiddling around with things, a quick thank you to all the people who show up in the live stream already. BD and 8183, my Star Wars guys, Sky, JJ Skywalker, Steph, Tim, Gary. Please do come out and say hello. Thanks so much for all the kind words, both here at social media and everywhere else, guys and gals. It is certainly appreciated. You guys make it all worthwhile. There's a lot of fun. So please throw your comments up there. If you're special, as we go through this, you know, if you have special episodes and stuff that you remember that are, you know, that you had a lot of fun with, let us know. We'd love to hear that too. It's always fun to hear. Albert has no idea what I'm saying. I'm talking into the void. This is good stuff. What's going on over there?
I have no idea.
I need like a commentary of what the hell's going on.
I have no idea. It's just going, man. It's like recording everything twice. So if you guys can hear us, again, apologies. We switched to a new service, and as you can tell, we have all kinds of bugs that we're trying to work out. Is it done? Is it not doing it anymore?
I don't see anything. So
it's still doing. It's still going. Yeah.
Shut them all down.
All right, I'm going to pull you off here real quick. Hold on here. Let's pull you off. There we go. Hi.
Hi there.
We're done. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. Jonesy, it's been a pleasure.
I don't know if anybody even heard my shout outs or
no. Let's just start the whole thing over and we'll edit it. So
start it all over.
Hey, this is live, and again, sincerest apologies. This won't happen again. Maybe it will. Who knows? But Jonesy, welcome to I was gonna do the whole intro like, hello everyone, welcome to the Cantina Cast. My name is Albert Padilla. This is episode 620. And it's called Jonesy, the final episode. I was going to call it, I was thinking like the final hype, only it's the final episode. And I was going to say, and with me as always, but maybe for the last time, is Jonesy. Jonesy, welcome to the show.
Thank you, man.
There.
Yeah, great job. Great job.
Thank you. Yeah.
Fantastic work here. This has been I got to be honest, I was like doing okay. And then like an hour ago, I like messaged Steph. I was like, I got to stay busy. I'm actually getting nervous about this for some reason.
It's done these questions I've given you,
dude. It is a little bit funny, and you're gonna have to help me with some of this stuff too, because my memory is poor. But when we've done as many shows as we've done, it's really hard to isolate it to just something short. So this might go on for a little while. So in true Cantina Cast fashion, who knows how long. But no, looking forward to this. It'll be fun to kind of go down memory lane with you a little bit too. We've had a lot of fun memories over the last almost 8 years, if you can believe that. So this is gonna be it's gonna be pretty cool. And you know who else is pretty cool, Albert?
How about our Patreon supporters?
Our amazing Patreon members, you're absolutely right. Especially those as part of the tribe. Alex, Danny, Dante, Daz. I've got a Brad feeling. Jackson, Jacob, Josh, Mike, Risk, Sharkman, Dan, Uncle Leon, and of course, those that are Delusions of Grandeur members, our top tier. Now, this is Rod Racing, Steve and Rob. Again, thank you for all your patrons over the years. No matter what tier you're at, whether you're a past or current member, we've enjoyed having you. Thank you so much. It's been a fun ride. Thank you for enjoying her. Hopefully you've enjoyed all the Patreon content we've done over the many, many years, and going to miss all of you. Going to miss saying some of that. There's going to be some of these things. You have to question in here, like, what are the things I'm going to miss? And sometimes it's the little stuff like this, It is pretty crazy. But hey, if you're listening to this, thanks for the download. We'd love for you to come out and visit Albert, Lauren, Fred, whoever else Albert has on the show in the future.
Mom, Dad.
Mom, Dad. KTDcast.com/YouTube. You can join some of these amazing folks who are already in the live stream. BDN 8183, My Star Wars Guys, Sky, JJ Skywalker, Steph, Tim, Gary, anyone else in the background. We would love for you to come out, say hello, share some of your favorite moments over the many years Albert and I have been doing this. If you have any favorite episodes, we'd love to hear them. Take the trip down memory lane with us. We certainly appreciate you being out there tonight or wherever you view this video. But yeah, please do like and subscribe, comment, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
We certainly appreciate it.
And we've also got we've got YouTube stuff now where you can sign up there. So I just want to shout out to Sky, who became a Cantina Cast supporter tonight. So thanks for doing that. And then Rob.
Well, and Rob did a super chat. That's amazing, Rob. Thanks.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that.
I'm going to hold, getting coffee these days with Albert is about like a $20 thing.
Easily.
Well, we do. That is a nice place we go to, though.
Yeah.
What we do.
Yeah.
What's it called? Moon. Summer Moon.
Summer Moon. Yeah.
Yeah. I found they have one here on the south side of Houston, though. So I need to see if they have one closer by, because they have pretty good coffee. I like it.
Yeah. Hey, if you're joining us for the live stream, the live recording, and if you got, like Jonesy said, comments or anything you want to say, bid your farewells, please do so in the comments. I will throw everything up. I just haven't got to it yet. But definitely this is your chance to do so. And if you've got questions that you want to ask of Jonesy, keep them clean. But anything goes, I think, at this point.
Alex.
So,
Look at you, Alex.
I know. Is he here? Did he join?
No, not yet.
All right.
But, hey, before we get started, though, we do have a piece of sad news to share. If you haven't heard already, Drew Struzan passed away at the age of 78 years old, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And Drew has been an absolute stalwart throughout your and my lives of the posters he's done for films and a variety of projects. And it's really sad to lose him. And you talk about someone who has created some of the most iconic posters in my lifetime, at the very least, in the last 40 plus years.
Yeah.
It has to be Drew Struzan, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's not a movie that comes to mind. I mean, there are, but for the most part, most of those movies that we grew up with during those late 70s and prolific work through the 80s. I mean, a lot of times you don't even realize it's his work, right? You go back and you look at the body of work that he's done, and you're just like, wow, he's done so many of those movies. I mean, everything from, he's done Star Wars, all the Lucasfilm stuff. He's done all the Amblin stuff. I mean, just name it. It goes on and on and on. But that was a time I'm not taking anything away from today's movie posters, but it's very different. We don't get a lot of that same art style. Every once in a while, you'll see it now pop up again, and it's like a throwback to what he was doing. But that was the artwork back then, and it was just so lifelike, and it just conjures up memories. And once you see the movie and you go back and look at the artwork, you can see it's just all the different scenes and some of the bigger scenes. And yeah, it's just, it's kind of sad and weird, surreal to think that somebody like that is gone. I mean, but yeah, he's going to be sorely missed. He's been sorely missed, I think, in the movie industry for a while, but definitely would be sorely missed now, given that he's passed. So.
Yeah, so some of his iconic posters, because I know some folks might be thinking about which ones that he's done that you would recognize. So I think the Star Wars is called the Circus poster. It's the one. It's very serialized. It's the one with Star Wars really big and Luke and Leia on the mainframe on the right. The special edition posters were all done by Drew Struzan. The prequel trilogy posters that you know and love and recognize were all Drew Struzan as well. Indiana Jones 2 through 4 were all of his as well, like the ones that you would have seen hanging in the theater. All the Back to the Future posters,
the Future ones,
the Goonies,
Big
Hook,
Trouble in Little China,
Hook, E.T. It was an alternate poster for E.T., but a classic E.T. poster that really captures the wonder and spirit of that era in particular. The first Harry Potter, Sorcerer's Stone, was actually Drew Struzan. I did not know that.
Yeah, he came back and did Yeah, I thought he did more than that. Maybe was it only the first
Did
one
he?
that he did?
I don't know. It's the only one I was like searching around. It's kind of hard to find some of the stuff sometimes, but
Yeah.
it was the one that popped up routinely. I think that's the one. It's with like Harry Potter and his head's kind of slightly down. It's
Right.
that very first one you probably think of when you think of Harry Potter movies. But Blade Runner, he did
Blade
one of
Runner,
did
yes.
that one,
Yeah.
and then one I did not know. So you were saying that we don't know which one he does. Your favorite movie, Masters of the Universe, the movie, Drew Struzan actually did the poster for it, like the main poster A, which I did not know, but totally makes sense because it's that total vibe, you know.
Well, I was trying to find my copy of Battle for Endor, but I think he did that one as well, if I'm not mistaken. But
It wouldn't surprise me if he did the made for TV stuff. Yeah,
yeah, but
pretty
that's
much
a good
anything Spielberg or Lucas, he was
Lucas.
involved with, at least for an alternate poster or kind of the B, C's, and D's, if he wasn't doing the A's.
Do you own any of those posters by chance? Even if the reprints or
No, I
I'm trying
don't
to
think
if
I
I do.
do. I thought I used to have some special edition posters, but I honestly don't know where they've disappeared to over the years.
Hmm. Yeah, I was just thinking. I don't think I have any of his work. He did do Battle of Endor, by the way.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, definitely going to be missed. If you get a chance, go back and look at some of those posters, and you'll see what we're talking about. There's many, many more that we haven't even begun to touch. So.
Yeah, so thank you, Drew Struzan. You will be missed. And yeah, thanks for all the joy you've added to our favorite movies.
Yep. Okay, well, if that wasn't sad enough, let's get started with.
Well, this is going to be fun, man. Let's not bring the sad. Let's bring the
just
fun.
kidding. Let's do the main show. So I've got a list. I was calling this the exit interview. I think I mentioned on the Patreon episode. By the way, and if anybody didn't know, we did announce this on Patreon last week, and we kind of gave them the first, heads up that this was coming. So this might be a surprise. I think it was a surprise to a number of people as I was posting today on social media and putting the link out there. But what I thought I'd do is kind of do a exit interview of sorts. And I've got a couple questions here, a lot of questions here. I don't know if we'll get through all. Maybe we will, but I kind of categorize them into like a couple categories. So the first one is hosting and on-air moments. Then I have audio and editing production, which Jonesy does a lot of as well. I don't know if we've ever really, probably on Patreon, I think we've talked about it. I don't know if we've really talked about it very much on the public shows. And then one of his favorites, which is graphics, thumbnails, and visuals.
Love-hate relationship.
Love-hate relationship. He does a lot of great work there. And that's where, I mean, among many other things that I'm going to miss with you gone is that particular piece. It's like, it was so good when you finally just took it over. I was like, oh, thank God that I don't have to do that crap. And no, I'm kidding. It's fun. It's a lost labor of love. And then the last one was just kind of behind the scenes and just collaboration type stuff. So those are the categories. I'm probably just going to take these in order. So why don't we start with hosting and on-air moments? And the first question I have for you is, what was your favorite Cantina Cast episode to host and why? And,
okay.
And I mean, 499 episodes.
Yeah,
I
first
get
of all,
it. There's a lot.
Yeah,
to go
this
through.
is my 499th. And if you look at how many hours we've done this hour, going into the show, it's over 715 hours, which is just shy of it's like if you round, it's like 29, almost 30 days straight of shows that we've done together.
It feels that way.
And we still not exceeded what we did in the basement just in 2 times together.
Right.
There.
And just in the first 5 episodes, right?
Yeah. But it was really hard. I couldn't get this down to just one. So I have like a half dozen here, and some of these are kind of groupings of it. I think the first 2 we did are still special, right? So we did the Cosmic Force, Living Force, and what's the other force? Gosh, or was it just Cosmic and Living Force, right?
Yeah, it was just Cosmic and Living, but
I don't know why there's 3. Everything's got to be in 3s. But yeah, it was those first 2 episodes. Until this assignment, I haven't worked that hard on a Cantina Cast note prep, and since then, so it's been almost 8 years working this hard at a show note. But that was one, and you kind of had a question later on, and this fills that void too. Is not really sure what I was doing going into it, and so it was cool to kind of dive into it, try to keep what Mike and Joa and them had done, kept alive for so long, and honor what they were doing, and to kind of dive into a not easy subject. And I think when you think about things that have changed over time, looking back on that episode and then trying to revisit some of that would be interesting to see how we feel now that we have all this other perspective and commentary on it. So the first 2, I think, were really important, kind of things that really stand out in my mind. I think another one would be the review episodes that we did with Mike up in Chicago in 2019. It was the first time we had been to Celebration. It was cool doing those shows with Mike kind of being there and letting us run the show. Stargate Pioneer hooked us up with WGN and going down to the radio station. So we were on the radio station in Chicago, the three of us. Such a unique experience. A huge thanks to SP over the years as well. He's been such an amazing supporter of the show as so many people have.
Yeah.
But that was super memorable and neat going down there in the snow in an Uber. Another set of memories was Star Wars Celebration 2023 when I came out to Austin, and we kind of did it at your place all weekend long. I can't remember how many shows we did, 4 or 5 or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, we brought Lauren in on some of those shows.
And we did. And Lauren came in to visit with us too. Yeah. And it was just so much fun. Like we were kind of just figuring it out on the fly, just kind of in the same room and stuff. Things that we don't really get to do that stuff very often. We don't live far away from each other, but we live far enough away from each other, being a better part of 3 hours away, that doing it in person is always tough.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Keep going. No, keep going.
Yeah, let me just run through these and maybe you can come back on some of them. The first May the 4th be with y'all was also really neat because it was something totally different. Like we didn't know what was going on. We were kind of coming out of COVID. We were like MCs of this show and we're passing it back and forth. It was a complete nightmare, like preparation wise. We didn't know what the hell was going on, but it was just fun. It was like a chaotic fun at some level though. It was just so different and unique. And Steph and all the folks out there with Silver Lake Creative. Yeah. We're just have been so nice to us over the years and we love doing things with them. I think any of the shows we did with Patreon guests, and I love all the shows I was able to start doing with Lauren, kind of one-on-one too, and getting a rhythm there and exploring some other smaller pieces of kind of what we kind of gloss over a lot of the time. Were always really fun and getting a different perspective. And then of course, like the meetups that we had like in 2019 and 2022, anytime we can spend time with any of our listeners and just kind of get to know them a little bit and them get to know us and just kind of break bread and have fun. It's just really neat. And the stuff we did up in Chicago was really cool because we just did so many of them. We had the Earglue Media network at the time as well. Yeah. Being able to spend time with them. I was a bit of a nightmare that trip. So I have mixed emotions about it. I'll talk a little bit that later on, but it was still really cool to be able to share that with all of the guys that really so many of them were with the Cantina Cast for as long as you and I have been listening to the show and been involved. It was just really cool to be able to spend time with them, get to know everybody better. Jason had just come into the mix as well. So getting to know Jason a little bit better. And of course, with Mike and the guys, it's just, Joe was out there too. It's just, so much fun and so many fond memories. Watching you enjoy snow for what seemed like the very first time in your life was absolutely, mind blowing and so much fun, and so it was pretty cool. And Jeff is reminding me in the episode, my favorite episode was clearly the one that he was in.
Right. All of them.
But it's stuff like that. Jeff has just been with us so long. I've actually got to hang out with Jeff, like outside of any podcast and everything else too, with his wife. And, it's so cool being able to hang out with somebody and get to form like good friendships with a few people too. And all the people that have messaged me on the side, it's just, it's cool. Like you just have little friendships that pop up over time. It's really neat.
No, I definitely feel like most of those
ditto,
ditto on everything there for sure. It's funny because I remember asking you when we did the first show, or when you did your first show, I remember that was exactly your feedback is like, holy crap, I have like 6 pages of notes. And that episode wasn't that long. The topic there was certainly a lot.
We were very disciplined back then with hours. Mike would threaten our lives if we went over an hour. And at some point we just stopped caring.
Yeah. Like, screw this guy. We'll show him. Watch this 2.5 hours later. But yeah, and I was just, it's funny because I was the same way. And I think people that have come onto the show, and I don't think it's indicative to our show or unique to our show by any means, but even when I've gone and guest hosts on other shows, I'll like make a ton of notes, and it turns out I don't really use half of that. But the amount that you created that first time was pretty hilarious, and it's still something that we still joke about every once in a while. So I'm glad you brought that up. I actually completely forgot about that. I am proud of those episodes too. Those were a lot of fun, to do. So, and we've talked about actually going back and revisiting those and revisiting a lot of these shows, a lot of the topics, and doing a more updated version now that we have the benefit of a number of years and context and video, movies and books and all that other stuff. So Maybe it'll be time to do that once you're out of here. Once I pack up your stuff and ship it out of here. All right, next question. What topic or Star Wars moment challenged your perspective the most while discussing it on the show?
I don't have specifics here, but I think anytime we talk about Mortis and World Between Worlds, it feels like there's just something new to learn, something new to interpret. Your perspective, my perspective, people with comments in the chat, listeners' perspective, comments that we get. There's always something different, and it's one of the curious things. Like I'm not like the Ahsoka series with season 2. I think generally where we keep landing, the Thrawn stuff is cool, but what is going on with Baylan Skoll and Mortis is the one that's the most appealing. That's the one we kind of keep coming back to, right?
Yeah.
And so it's hard not to go back to those episodes and things those are the things that challenge us the most. I think one other thing I was not expecting was when we did the A New Hope as a Disney Plus series. And while you're laughing, but what I liked about it though was that it made us think of it in a totally different context and then splitting up the shows. Where's the natural breaks? What would you do differently to make it more of an episodic series? Because that's the time we live in. Like 10 years from now, maybe this is completely irrelevant, but for right now, D plus, like for Star Wars, has kept us alive because we've had this drought in the theater compared to what we were getting used to there for a while. And with the solo, all the movies coming out kind of sequentially or every couple of years or so, every year or two.
Right.
So it was a unique. It didn't change my perspective on A New Hope, but it certainly changed how I thought about structuring it and where the natural cutoff points were and what makes sense and how the arcs actually worked. And so it was a different perspective, almost like an editor's type of point of view on it, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I thought was a lot of fun. And I'll show, we'll talk some of the art stuff later, but those were some of the fun ones I liked to do because it was just something interesting. How do I encapsulate this episode in one image and still make it look a little vintage, but capture the spirit of what it's really doing, And so those were like two that kind of came to mind for me there.
Yeah. No, those are great ones. This is not my interview, so I'm not gonna. I'm used to just chiming in.
I love your feedback. I mean, we got to keep the show moving because you got a boatload of questions in here. But I'd love if you have anything special that you.
Well, I do need to come back. I know this is your last episode, but the thought of going back now, I've wanted to return and do Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe I'll pay or something. We'll have to see. But those were a lot of fun. Those definitely were a lot of fun. They were challenging too, like you said, in different ways. Yeah. And Mortis, it's Mortis, but then it's also, I don't want to speak for you, but anytime Star Wars gets weird, I know you like when Star Wars gets weird sometimes, but anytime Star Wars gets weird is when that becomes very challenging because we're having to start to think about, we're thinking differently about Star Wars. We're so much of it has been tradition and
you have to break from some of the structure that you're used to. And that's really hard for us. I mean, it's not just us or the fandom or whatever. It's challenging to think differently and to kind of go up with a different perspective on it.
Okay,
and then to interpret that and talk about it, geez, man, sometimes I don't know how we do it either.
Yeah. All right, I got a fun question here for you. At least it was fun to me. If you had to describe your hosting style in a single Star Wars quote, what would it be?
Actually, I had a non-Star Wars.
And there's
quote.
A lot of good ones in there, by the way. I think.
Yeah, there are. I kept going back to. We say this. It's kind of funny. You have another question later on about kind of what are they called? Like insider joke type of moments or things like that. And one we say rather frequently is hold on to your potatoes.
Yeah.
Because we're scrambling at the very last minute to kind of get something going or we don't know quite how something's going to work out. And we're like, well, we'll figure it out. We'll fix it in post. Yeah.
Fix it in post.
Yeah. But the one that kind of keeps coming up to mind is you hear me, baby, hold together from A New Hope when the Falcon's just getting pounded by Han Solo. Like so much is, so I always have a wonderful appreciation for what you do leading the show whenever I host like with Lauren and there's that role reversal. I take on kind of your role and Lauren fills my typical role. And I'm so out of sorts. Everything is moving so fast and got a little better over time with it, but I'm like scrambling down. I know what the hell I'm doing half the time and trying to still make it sound natural. I'm blessed because I get to provide kind of the color commentary to the structure that you provide. And when I'm the one providing the structure, it feels so off. It's so different.
I had the same experience. Like I said earlier, when I was talking about making the title cards and artwork going forward, it's like, I mean, I can do it, but I'm a train wreck trying to get that stuff organized.
Wait till you start working on the website.
Oh yeah, let me get on that right away. As soon as we're done here, let me tell you, I'm pulling the plug on that thing. No, but all right, that's a good one. Okay, how about which debate or deep dive made you and me laugh the hardest, either on or off the air?
You know, this one there were a lot of moments where I remember laughing really hard, but I couldn't remember what it was. But I'm pretty sure it revolved around a few things. Maz Kanata, Pelimoto, Furry Jawas, or Greedo and Leia's love affair were some of the ones that came to mind most frequently, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And then
walked into that one, or stepped in it, but
and then actually tonight was a fantastic example. Is pretty much any time that the intro or outro music got goofed up.
And there's been plenty.
There have been numerous
ones for various reasons.
Yeah. But those were always just comedic moments where you just can't replace them. They're just live in the moment, but.
Mm-hmm. And they're out there on the internet for the entire world to see forever and ever. So.
And we don't edit the videos. So what you get is what you get.
Yeah.
It's a wonder we've grown this channel at all.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Everybody's here for the shit show.
Yeah, that's it. That's what everybody's here for.
Right.
What was an episode that you thought we're really into something special here?
Those first two were I think
right
kind of
there.
fit that bill a little bit. Like it was just kind of that we could do this, and it gave us confidence that, hey, we could actually maybe carry that torch that was laid for us.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked, like I said, the New Hope Disney Plus shows. I thought that was actually a really good idea and really fun. Thanks to Ryan C. Showers.
Yeah, Ryan C. Showers over at Scream with Ryan C. Showers. That he came up with that concept, and I completely stole it from him. I told him we were going to steal it, but I mean, it's such a cool concept and a lot of fun. It was a really fun exercise.
Yeah, and then some of our Patreon, it's funny. Sometimes we go into these shows, especially the Patreon deep dive. So when we were doing like Bad Batch or one of the series, we'd pick a small thing and carve it out and, go into a deep dive on Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
And some of those really did turn out quite well when we didn't really have a lot of structure. We didn't know what we were doing going into it. And we'd come out of that show and we would genuinely say, that was fun. Like that show actually went really well. Like that felt really good. Good show, and we actually meant it, for change. But again, I can't remember specifically which ones, but I remember the feelings though, that we weren't sure what we were going to get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But then all of a sudden we came out with something I thought was insightful. I think was usually what got you the most excited. If we actually brought something to the table that felt insightful and worth people's time, but then also that it hopefully had a layer of enjoyment to it, and the conversation got people really, captivated into what, visualizing the scene and thinking about it maybe differently or thinking about it deeper. Yeah, that's always really rewarding, especially when we get feedback, and someone come in and say something about it too, or their perspective, because it opened up another part of the conversation. That was always really enjoyable, and it kind of prolonged that moment too of wow, okay, yeah, this is. Sometimes we kind of get it really right, and there's definitely been some shows that are like, that was kind of a dud. But even some of the comic shows, it's like, man, this material is kind of crappy. And then somehow
we turned something out. Yeah.
We kind of made it, and at least I had fun doing it,
Right.
and things like that. So some people are like, well, hey, you're struggling with some of the Star Wars comics and you don't necessarily like that, but you don't come across that way on the stream. I'm like, well, one, people don't want to see someone I don't want to be someone that pisses and moans all over everything.
Right. Craps on.
And I don't think I think genuinely people don't really want that, but also I think you want your enthusiasm to be genuine and, and something that they can attach to. And hopefully we just make it fun along the way, because it is Star Wars still. And we, even when it's crappy, there's still something to glean from it.
Yeah. Which I don't think we've ever not been able to glean something off of content.
Well, sometimes we work really hard to get there,
Yeah,
but usually there's something.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a lot of mining that's going on. Okay, so in that same vein, what's one episode you wish that people had listened to or appreciated more?
There's always, it's like all of them, I think.
Every episode.
Any of the comic episodes really. So comics and like when we reviewed like the Rebuild the Galaxy, like the view numbers on those are pretty terrible, right?
Yeah.
They don't, if it's not the review shows or the deep dive of the actual shows that are going on, numbers usually kind of trail back because that's where the masses kind of come in.
Right.
But if I were to kind of pick them, like our High Republic deep dives, those early ones, those were really hard shows. I mean, they were so detailed, and kudos to you
So long too.
I mean, kudos to you for breaking them apart into digestible things. And then we talked. We had to talk a lot about those. About hey, what is our approach going to be?
Yeah,
because
we would
then
spend a lot of time talking about how are we going to break this down because not everyone was the same. We had to mix it up because of the way the narrative was.
Yeah, we tried doing it by chapters and by groupings, and then I think at one point we kind of did character arcs instead, which I think actually worked pretty well. You know, because most of them kind of are standalone. But you know, those High Republic books, I think those were ones I'd like to, and they actually kind of have a little bit of legs to them, which is kind of nice. I see those numbers still kind of go up. I think the Bad Batch stuff would have been nice to see more, you know, activity and traction on, you know, but it's a rather long list. But those are usually the three things: High Republic books, Bad Batch, and the comics. And I think in particular, those smaller pieces of content don't always get appreciated quite as much. And then I think also we've done some really great shows on Patreon that were Patreon exclusives, and I'm so happy that we were able to do them exclusively for Patreon. But there's sometimes moments that you're like, man, I wish this show was public because this was a damn good show. And like, we really, like we left like really feeling like we knocked it out of the park. It felt great about it. And it may not have had traction on the YouTubes or whatever, but you know, it was just one of those moments of like, oh, I'm resisting the urge. I want to make this one public because I thought it was just really good. I want everybody to hear it. It doesn't really work, but, and yeah, thanks Reader Reborn in the chat. Light of the Jedi Deep Dive was the episode that got him here. And we have a lot of people like that, especially.
There are quite a few people that joined at that time.
Yeah, and that's kind of how we got linked up with Lauren to an extent as well. You know, because we were doing them and because we came across Lauren, she was a listener, and I started kind of looking at what she was doing, and I was like, man, she got a whole YouTube channel that she's doing this. Why is she not doing this with us or kind of owning it and you know, helping kind of spread the wealth and get more stuff out to people, and it opened some doors for us. And Jeff also saying, in all seriousness,
Jeff is always bringing up.
Yeah, your High Republic stuff was fantastic. Also, Captain Finial Bright Forever.
He's never let that go, man. He's like a diehard ride or die.
I love
Captain Bright fan.
It's comments like that though that make this show so much fun.
Yeah. Go read the book if you don't know what we're talking about here. Rob had a bounce, but he said, "Ugh, I have to cut out. Fist to heart. It was a privilege to get to know you, sir. Stay cool." And he's joined
thanks,
us
Rob.
for
I'm going to be watching those for those action figure posts. Yeah. I want to see him, bud.
There was a question in here from Reader Reborn. Also, he had one earlier. I don't know if you saw it here. Question number 1: why do you hate Star Wars and all of us now?
But the pay is lousy. Albert doesn't pay me crap.
Hey, man, somebody's got a new roadcaster, not me.
Well,
let's see what else.
I think we're on to audio edit. Oh, these are more
Steph
chat.
says some of my favorite episodes were the ones where y'all break away from the normal process, doing puzzles or building Lego. Yeah, we haven't done a lot of those. It was mostly Patreon that I think we did those.
Yeah. Well, the one that I have a little bit of regret on, like from an episode standpoint, was when we did the kind of the rip and review, and we had Greg on the show for the Star Wars Unlimited. Is that we weren't educated enough. This is on both.
I was not educated. I just had the funds. That was it.
I knew what some of them were, but I didn't know enough about it. And I know you were just trying to zip through them to see what was shiny.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And so we had some really great feedback that was like, hey, you guys don't know what you're doing, which was totally accurate.
Yeah.
We just
That's every episode too, by the way.
We like the pretty pictures and the shinies, but that was one episode I was like, we probably could have taken a little more care to figure that one out a little bit better. But I'm with Steph. Like some of the impromptu shows, the shows that were just like Q&A shows were kind of fun as well.
Yeah.
We did the Lego build where we just kind of sat and shot the breeze while you were attempting to build a Lego set for hours on end, and which is still not built all the way. Probably
It's still not built. I'm looking at it right back here.
Yeah. I mean, those, and I think anywhere we shared like more personal sides of our stories, right? I think some folks have always reached out to us and said that they like those moments because we're like more like real people, I guess, rather than, you know, sometimes you can come across as kind of towing the line or whatever it might be, but you kind of peel that back and you kind of see who we are, and you more of a connection. I think that's important. So those episodes always meant a lot to me too.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's get into audio editing and production. Now, a lot of
this is gonna be good.
Yeah. So,
this is where the Band-Aid's gonna get ripped off.
oh man, here it
It's
comes.
time.
It's time. I'm gonna hear it. We don't share a lot of the audio and editing process, although we probably are now because of the way these questions are formatted.
Mm-hmm.
So some of this might be new for you guys, or if you've ever had a chance to hear us complain and cry in the middle of the night, then you already know what we're talking about. But which episode? Oh my God, there's so many of these. Yeah. Which episode was the biggest pain in the force to edit, and why?
You know how much I love our Patreon members, right, Albert?
Yes, I do.
Well, you know, not everybody we're really fortunate to have nice equipment. And so anytime anyone's on the show with like AirPods and headphones and maybe speakers on their laptop or whatever, those are the hardest episodes. Your brother tapping on the table all the time.
Oh my goodness, he's terrible.
Not
he's
to call anybody out, Alex.
Yeah, no, you can call him out. He's not here yet.
But, you know, those are always hard just because there's a lot of tracks, which is great because we want people on the show, of course.
Yeah.
And then we have to do a lot of, you know, processing and stuff. But there's actually one story where I think it was one of the last Patreon factoids that we did. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna run this stuff through like Adobe AI or something else to clean up the tracks and try to step it up a notch. Let's embrace this revolution.
Looks great on paper.
And see what happens. Yeah, and you know what? When I threw it in there, I was like, you know what? This actually did a pretty good job. So I slammed the tracks in our audio editor. And then I noticed that it took all of the little things that usually I would silence out, like the noises in between when they weren't talking or whatever, and it amplified them and made them like these really super obnoxious squelches. It was the worst edit possible, to the point where I think I scrapped it halfway through and started over and redid it. Yeah, because it was just so painful, and I didn't want to go and apply all the effect. I didn't want to go figure out every track myself because I was just, at that point, I was just fed up, you know. But those types of that one moment in particular, I remember in particular, that really hurt my soul because I was like, man, I've cracked the code of what I can do to, you know, simplify this, and I don't have to put all these rules. And I think the very next show, I think I told her, I was like, hey, you got to have headphones. Like, we're not doing this anymore.
Yeah. The AI stuff, not to get into how the soup is made, but the AI stuff still has a little bit to go. I mean, eventually I think it's going to get there. Like, there's no doubt that it'll get there where you can just pop it in, have AI clean it up and put it out and make everybody sound crisp. But it's just not there yet. There's still a lot of work. And so you're kind of trading off between, okay, do I spend a lot of time editing from scratch, or do I spend a lot of time cleaning up the edit from AI? And it's, I don't know, depending on how long the show is and how many people you have on the show, it can be a wash, or you could be, you know, under. So it's definitely going to come around at some point. But I don't think a lot of people realize too, you and I, we don't just take the audio track, slap it in and go. Like we go through the whole thing and we level and we'll go and kill, you know, take out silences and, you know, pregnant pauses. And there's a lot that goes into it. And so, and I'll admit, like, over time, I'm like not as picky as I used to be, because I think there's something to be said about, you know, the rawness of it all, the realness of it all, without it being almost imperfect or perfect in a lot of ways. But even still, like, if you got to think about it, for every person that's on just audio, and let's say they do a 1 hour, you do a 1 hour episode, that's about a 2 to 3 hour edit. And that's like good. Like, that's probably a good speed. The minute we add like a third or fourth person or even a fifth person on that turns into, I mean, I've had like 7-8 hour edits for the show before, maybe even longer when we got into like when we would do like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. I think we had a 3 hour show at one point. I don't remember where that was at. Yeah. But it's a lot of work that goes into editing, believe it or not, to get a good quality, right? I mean, I get it. A lot of people are like, you're spending way too much time, you're overthinking this, but that was given to us. Like when Mike and Joe, I always felt like they did a really good job, with the quality. Yeah. And I didn't want that to drop. And so, you know, it meant, you know, you and I had to get better equipment. You and I had to start learning how to edit better and really, you know, bring our editing up to that same level just to have that kind of consistency. So. All right.
Which I'm thankful for. I like things like that, and it was rewarding. And for a long time, it was very therapeutic, actually. I really enjoyed getting into it all. But
yep.
It wears on you after a while, though, too. There's Alex.
There's Alex. And Rita Reborn told him you're a damn pen tapper, apparently. After he asked what he missed. Okay. Have you ever had to secretly fix something that Albert said or vice versa in post-production?
Well, first, let me preface this.
All right.
I don't
Thanks,
edit.
Jonesy, for being here. We'll see you guys next time.
I am the harshest on my own track. Like, just to be clear, I'm the harshest on my own track. The one thing with Albert, and I hesitate to even say anything because once you hear things, you can't unhear them. I edited a lot of crutch words out for Albert, like a ton. And I think, I forgot, I messaged you one time because I counted them.
Yeah, you did.
It was like something like 50 or 100 or something.
It was like in the middle of the night, too. It's like, hey, man.
Yeah, can we work on this?
Can we work on this a little bit?
And for a long time, you improved and you were.
Yeah, I was. And then I was like,
and then at some point, you're like, I don't care anymore.
I mean, Obama does it. He's a good orator.
You know what, though? The reason, I mean, I always have to take a step back because, again, what you're doing as kind of the lead host is a challenging job of keeping us not only kind of somewhat on task, which is a little ironic to say given us, but, but to think of the segues and to get your own thoughts while listening and organizing what's coming next. It's not an easy task, right? It's something that takes a lot of, like, you're constantly thinking about something and you're usually thinking about multiple things all at once while still also trying to maneuver what's going on screen. And we have tasks that we've divided up over time, but some of that is just native to kind of what you're doing. And so even though I give you a hard time about it, and I certainly bitch and moan about it a lot, at least in private, it's something that's always in the back of my mind. It's hard to be critical or criticize about it because there are so many things going on in the moment, and that's why you fix things in post. It's a joke, but that's why you fix things in post to make it more listenable. And I think even with the Patreon members, we want people to sound the best that they can based on our ability and based on what they have to bring to the table. We want people to focus on what they're saying, not some artifact or whatever else that they're hearing. Yeah. And that's always been important to us. It was really important to Mike when he was editing the show too. And like you said, we definitely wanted to keep that alive. Yeah.
It's also the best show that based on the amount of time that we have to edit. So,
right.
What you get, it'll be when it's done.
And it's done.
As they say.
Good Mike-isms.
Excuse me. Okay, what's the weirdest or funniest audio blooper you've ever had to cut out?
They're always on your side.
No, they're always on your side. They're always the freaking cars going by.
Well, I've got that later.
The vehicles.
Yeah.
Okay,
I've got that one later. That's my biggest frustration. I think a few times I've edited the cat banging on your door.
Yep. That's Chopper. He scratches at the door the entire time.
I think one time, this was a while back, maybe a few years ago, one of the boys came into the room while you were doing the show and you were like, I think you turned off your camera, but I could still hear you shushing them out.
Yeah.
I'm on the damn phone.
No, I didn't say that. I don't curse my kids, but yes.
But I mean, yeah, it was that vibe though, right? Of like, just get out. You know what I'm doing.
Right.
Why are you here? You're just trying to shush them out and stuff. Yeah, I know there's like every once in a while, like weird things happen. Like you don't notice them like during the day, but little gurgles in your voice and things like that are always more embarrassing, I think, than anything else, rather than funny audio bloopers. But yeah, I don't know. We don't have a lot of, we don't really have bloopers. We don't have like a blooper reel or anything.
No, it's because a lot of what we do is just live. We just do it. I mean, we'll cut some stuff out, but for the most part, we're not doing like multiple takes. And if it is a blooper, we just roll with it. I mean, look at the intro of this show. What a hot mess. Yeah. I mean, I'll clean it up in the audio, I guess, or at least I'll try to, but we just kind of go with it. It's totally fine. I have a little pen and paper here that I keep, and anytime there's like a gurgle from you or from me or Chopper at the door or the car is driving by, I'll note the time. Right. So that now when I go back and edit, I know, okay, I've got to go clean that up. Otherwise, I might forget it. Or
even though that timestamp is totally no good once you do a cut.
No,
it's split.
I figured out a way to do it. Like I'll go to the timestamp and I'll make markers on them first before I do any editing. Before I start cutting it up,
that's smart.
I'll go mark them all first, and then I'll cut, and then I know they're coming.
I never figured you for a planner, Albert. That's really this is shocking. Yeah. After 500 episodes in 8 years that I've learned this about you.
Yep, that's the only thing though. What piece of background?
Albert has a family calendar that he promptly ignores all the time.
Yes, that's very true. It's not my calendar. Which piece of background music or audio design choice are you most proud of? You and I both did a comic review
where you kind of pan around the comic and we have voiceover and we talk about what's going on in the issue.
Did we?
We both did one. Yeah.
Okay.
I did one for
Oh,
War of
we
the-
were, and we were going to do them more often. I think we only did like one each.
Yeah, because they were way too much work. Yeah.
Right.
This was back like in 2021, I think, or like this is around episode 390, I think. It's around that time frame. So War of the Bounty Hunters comic series had come out was the one I had done. I think you did one on probably High Republic, but it was fun. It was really fun, and it was cool to kind of be creative and do different zooming type of effects and little explosions if there was an explosion on screen. And I didn't go that far into it. I think I had music and stuff like that, but the overall design idea, like for a first time, was I could see why people enjoy doing that so much, but it is a ton of work for what equates to about a 5-minute video.
Yeah.
And so when you look at the investment versus what you kind of get out of it, it was difficult to do that. And again, comics don't usually perform that well. So where do you want to invest your time to kind of get your biggest return, whether that's, and at the time we weren't really monetizing a whole lot. So it was more engagement based, right? So so that, and then I think anytime Fred swears, like I have to do the R2D2 like scream because Fred forgets this is a PG-13 show publicly. So I've had to do that a few times. I think I've done it to us, once or twice as well, or on maybe at the Patreon if someone drops like an F-bomb. We used to do that stuff. Like we used to have more language like on the After Dark, but I think over time you and I have kind of cleaned some of that up because it's just not necessary. I think, and I always consider like if you've got kids in the car, we want you to listen to us. We don't want you to have to worry about, something beyond what you would see on network television.
Right. Yeah.
And so every once in a while we'll say something, but we try not to make it too, it's not vulgar at the very least, right? But it was always fun throwing little crickets in there sometimes at some of your bad jokes and R2D2 screams when someone swore.
Yeah, I do remember some of those. And yeah, those were fun. Those videos, the comic stuff. I'd like to do more of that. Maybe I've been honestly toying with that idea going forward because, I've figured out a way to kind of fill in time here and there whenever I can't get hosts or we're in this, period of not a lot of content coming out outside of Visions. So there may be more opportunities to start doing that and hopefully get a little bit faster at doing it. But those are a lot of fun. I do enjoy them. It's just, like you said, it's a time sink. So, okay. So you're editing, right?
Yeah.
We've just wrapped up a show. You and I have done the coin toss of who's going to edit. No, that's not how it works. If you didn't know, for the most part, I don't know for about the last 3-4 years, at least, maybe I've been doing editing the public shows. Jonesy has been editing the Patreon shows. And then if, one of us has got something going on, then we'll cover for each other. But It's been pretty standard there. So you're getting ready to edit the Patreon show. What is your routine? Like, do you have a routine when you would sit down and edit? And I don't know the answer to this because I don't give a crap. I usually go to sleep. But do you get like a snack or a favorite beverage or what's that editing routine look like for you?
Yes, like you said, usually I was editing the show from Sunday and I would do it Monday after work. So I would usually go make dinner and then usually I'd have I drink seltzer water, like these little flavored seltzer water. So usually I got one of these and every once in a while I'd have, I don't know, a can of lightly salted almonds or something there. I really focus like heavily on it. I don't do a whole lot for distraction because while I'll edit the show at like 1.5 speed, like I won't actually.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. You're great. That's weird to me, but go on.
Well, it was the only way I could really speed it up. And actually it turned out to work out pretty well. I still caught a lot of things too.
Yeah.
But yeah, usually just a can of seltzer water or water, and maybe a snack, but usually it's just water. But yeah, nothing exciting there.
Yeah. Do you ever get tired? Like, this is off script, but I was just thinking about it. Like, do you ever get tired of hearing yourself? Like when you're editing? I mean,
yeah.
maybe not because you're at 1.5 speed or whatever you do.
Yeah, usually I'm just listening usually I'm kind of remembering as we go through like what we talked about and what's relevant. Because to your question, maybe earlier in this questionnaire was like, do I edit things out or sometimes I'll splice things together. So you'll move like something that was relevant. Like sometimes we say something that's like, oh man, that was just wrong. And so I'll try to edit that out entirely. But sometimes we take what we have and we kind of split it apart and interject in between. So it takes out any kind of crosstalk that we have.
Yeah.
Or also if it just kind of makes a little more sense. That's pretty rare because usually we're such conversational that we just kind of let it go and I just space things out and spread them out a little bit more. But yeah, usually I'm not messing with that stuff too much though.
Okay. I can't stand to hear you while I'm editing. No, I'm kidding. I can't stand to hear myself while I'm editing. So it's like, it's painful for me.
I usually just kind of drone it on. So now I used to listen to the show like when it got released and that I've had to stop doing because we started getting really long shows, and I'm not in the car as much now.
Well, besides that, there's also the critique portion of it too.
Well, and that's actually what I was. Yeah, for me, that was what I was doing it for. I was like, okay, how was the audio? I was kind of grading myself of what we did, both content wise. What do I need to get better? What don't I like about it? It was very critique oriented, but I wasn't able to enjoy anything else. And it was all Cantina Cast all the time. And it just burns you out.
Yeah. And that's why you're here. Okay. The last question here on this section here for audio editing and production. If you could use the Force to instantly master one new editing skill or plugin, what would it be?
Editing out all these loud cars in my neighborhood, like without a doubt.
Okay, you had already said that you were kind of previewing that.
They are so hard to do, and it's usually already happened by now. It's usually like at 9:30. There's one that just drags down. Now I have traffic lights out here now.
Oh,
so some of that, it figures now and actually today they turned them on, so at least they're flashing red, so it's a 4-way stop. So some of that stuff should improve, but it's been a pain. Yeah, Hard Counter's known me for about 20 years now. So
yeah, he's saying, listen to him for 20 years. What that's like. See how long he lasts.
Yeah, it's pretty sad times. Yeah.
Okay. Jonesy has taken. I can't even remember the last. I think when we were doing or was it Book of Boba Fett or the Mandalorian? One of those.
I think it was maybe end of Mandalorian. Definitely all of Book of Boba Fett though.
That you did those, right?
Yeah, I took over.
Yeah, so that was pretty much that transition time. I think prior to that, I don't know if I was doing them mostly, but you were still doing some of them. I forget now. I can't even remember. But
yeah, we were kind of trading off for a little while. Like
you
would do some shows.
It was after that episode, after when the Book of Boba Fett came out. From that point on, with the exception of a couple of title cards where Jonesy wasn't available, or the last two, which have been really crappy. It's been, he was taking on all the artwork, and I have to say, man, like you've done a really good job. I don't think people, we were joking before we came on air. Like it's something that I don't think a lot of people appreciate, but the amount of time that you spend on doing this stuff and tweaking stuff, and it's like a labor of love that seems unappreciated. But I have to say, like, I've really enjoyed watching you get better and better and better. And now you're doing stuff. I'm like, crap, I can't do that. So now I got to go learn all that stuff. So you've set the bar really high. So I want to get into kind of the graphics and the thumbnails and the visuals and all that, because that has been a big part of what you've done here on the show. But if you had to look back at all the thumbnails that you've done, all the logos or the video graphic, the most recent one that we have for our outro, I think is phenomenal.
The video stuff. Yeah.
The video stuff.
Well, the Patreon video was the most fun, like, because when you think about like
the Patreon intro.
Yeah, the Patreon intro with like the droid noise, which is actually you on there and stuff like that. Like there's sometimes you actually spend the time to design something and it actually comes out the way you want. And actually, if you've got, I think I'm sharing some of these screens here, and I'll show some of my favorite ones and talk a little about it. So like these High Republic ones were kind of cool because I tried to mimic like what was going on in the books. Like you have a border, like the font. And what was really neat though is that this lightsaber here, like this is Stellan Gios's lightsaber. This was a flat cartoon image that I made look kind of real and kind of made it more 3D like, and completely made a custom blade. And had, like, depending on the template, actually there's a long blade and a short blade. And actually this is funny because there's so many questions. Yeah. Remember we used to do these on our deep dive shows. We would come up with these weird
just puns.
Yeah, these puns, right? But what was unique about these though, these High Republic ones, is like the top here, it says For Light and Life on this one, and it has the Jedi, the High Republic logo. But when you look at some of the other ones, I would change it. So this is Markion Row. This galaxy is mine at the top, and I've got the Eye of the Storm here.
Yeah.
With it, you can see that the saber blade's kind of different. And these were just really fun because it was a template, which was the first time I think I really created like a hard template. Book of Boba Fett, I kind of did some of that. These were back in the early 400s, looks like, but you have this and you can just kind of tweak it as you go, and it kind of fits. And so. Here's seeing Holt, of course. But these were just fun because it was kind of a true, template here, and it was customized. If we did the bad guys, they'd have the Eye of the Storm. If we had the good guys, it would be, the High Republic, logo. So those were a lot of fun to do. Yeah. This one was a lot of fun. Like the Zillo Beast Strikes Back. So this was Bad Batch Season 2 Metamorphosis, and it was the Zillo Beast just up, crying out to the to the heavens, screaming. And I was like, man, this just reminds me so, like the whole episode was like this, but it just reminds me of the old monster movies.
Right.
And so I found like, I think I found like 3 or 4 overlays. I found this really cool kind of, hyper stylized font, and the purple just seemed, it fit the Zillow Beast perfectly anyway, but then to lay all that over, this is one of the ones I was actually the most like thrilled about, because it's just so, the Zillow Beast strikes back, type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was just so much fun. That's always been a favorite. This is one. So I saw a title card, or not.
Yeah,
It wasn't even a title card. I saw a logo online. Yeah. Sorry. What'd you say?
No. I was gonna steal your thunder. Go.
Yeah. So I saw something online. I was like, you know what? It'd be really cool if we kind of shook things up and did something a little bit different. And so basically, for those listening, the card is a bunch of like rectangles that are kind of spread around the screen. In the middle is blank, and that's where you put your logo. And so for the High Republic comics and the High Republic adventures, and I think I ended up doing this for Tales of the Empire and Tales of the Jedi and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
I was able to take multiple screenshots of everything and put them in these, and again, this is all templatized. So you can, put your images in there, and I would upscale them if I needed to get, more vibrancy, or I'd put more saturation or brightness or whatever it might be, contrast to help just do that. So I wasn't editing a lot, but throwing them in there, and I thought it just looked really cool, and it was much more dynamic than what we had. And it almost reminds me of like the blast doors closing in A New Hope.
Yeah.
To an extent.
Right.
But it's just kind of one of those times where you have an idea or you see something, you're like, I think I can do that. 1, to imitate it, and then 2, to kind of put your own spin on it. And then taking the existing logos, I did this a lot. Like this High Republic logo is actually slightly skewed.
Yeah.
So it's
got italicized. On
it's almost like italicized, right? So it just gives a little dynamic shake to it, as well as all of the like just really subtle background effects you don't always notice to help it pop. And so I was always really proud of these too. I think they were a lot of fun. I didn't use AI, but like 3 times ever in our title cards. But this one was the most fun, I think. So we did our Patreon show, The Acolyte Postmortem. And I was like, I don't know. I'm like, I have this idea. I don't know what to do. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna play with AI. This was back last year in 2024. And sure enough, I was like, man, give me a graveyard. Like, give me some fire or whatever else. And this one was just too cool not to do. And I'm very careful about AI, and I definitely don't. And I'll show you another one I used some AI before too. But this one is like 100% AI, except putting our logo and doing some of the effects to make sure that it blended in with the cracks, so it looks very worn. It looks like it's been there for a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Cantina Cast logo is semi shaded out, so it's more of a sepia and in black and white tones rather than the full color of the orange and blue.
Yeah.
But to me, it was just so striking, and it was really cool. And I hope it didn't rip off any creators. But
did we use this one?
Yeah, we used it for Patreon.
Oh, I don't even remember. I don't remember this one. It looks cool, but
yeah,
I don't remember it. But
it was just so
visually
striking. I couldn't resist it.
Yeah.
Cantina Coffee Cat, like this is Cantina Coffee Company. This one was fun just because this was the origin of this logo that we did on the t-shirts and stuff, which you can still get out there at cantinacast.com/store. Is I'm promoting this show. I'm not going to benefit from it. I saw this. Yeah. There's a coffee pack at work that we were going from Independence Coffee Company, and they had the packaging of one of their logos. I was like, man, that'd be really cool. I wonder if I could, kind of put a different spin on that and make it into something for us. And I love coffee. Like I love, like, we'll go out to coffee shops and things like that, a small boutique or, roasters or whatever else. So it's just something I've gotten into the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, I'd love to kind of make our own. It was funny because some people reached out to me like, I didn't realize you guys were expanding into coffee.
Yeah.
I was like, well, thank you.
We don't have enough to do around here. But.
No, but I would love to, but I don't know anything about making coffee. And then I made a bunch. This says 100. I'm sorry, the background. This is a transparent image here, but 100% speculation roast. Like I actually created several that had different little sayings at the bottom as well.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool. Just
like you would if you had different roasts.
I think he may have showed me those. Oh, this was a great one.
Yeah, this was fun. Lauren and I did this show for Vader's Castle, Count Dooku, Prince of Darkness. And it wasn't so much the title card. I just love this artwork.
The artwork is just frightening as hell. Yeah.
Dooku as a vampire like monster was just so perfect and wonderful. And the holiday episode title cards were always a unique challenge and kind of fun to do because you have to make them feel holiday-ish or Christmassy or Halloweeny or whatever we're trying to do, while still also letting the art shine through. And when you have really good source artwork, it makes all the difference.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. This is probably the one I'm most proud of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we were doing Jedi,
this is good.
Yeah, we did Jedi tutorials. All this image really is just a blank. So it's a leather bound, like parchment type of journal, like
And you
with
found
leather
that like
binding.
on like images, right? It was a free image, right?
Yeah, it's just a free image on Adobe, right? So
Yeah.
Adobe had free image stock images, right? But it was really cool. So I took the Jedi logo and I made it look like it was burned into the book. It's behind the straps. The Arabesh says Jedi tutorials, and it has Cantina and Cast on the top left and right. And then I created the Cantina. I took the Cantina Cast logo and I made it into like a burned image on this table. So it still has that style, that old school kind of feel, but this is what's on the website. And I just absolutely love how this turned out. Cause again, it was another idea that when I kind of sketch it out on paper, and I'm not an artist by any stretch, but when I have ideas and I can sketch something out, I can actually go back and do it. And if I can make it look like I want to and actually get the effect that I want, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's really cool. And again, this is all, if you're a seasoned artist and all this, you're probably like, this guy is kind of a clown, but it's not. This one, Sith and the Skywalker, this is a comic. I had to edit some of these things to move them around and make the back background and bring the colors forefront and saturation and stuff. But this is just a good example when you have really good art to work with. You just have to make the artwork pop. I don't have to do anything really.
Yeah.
So this one was but it's so great with, I forgot the name of the character, but Luke kind of trapped in the red kyber crystal. Hope everyone comes out to the live stream and kind of sees this on YouTube, because these are just really cool. It's not highlighting my work. I'm just hopefully highlighting the artwork of these amazing illustrators. This is another one that's probably, it's my like top two besides editorial. So this is a Skull and Hadi character spotlight that we did.
Oh yeah.
Like this has like Easter eggs in it too, which I thought was fun. So not only do I have really two super high quality images I got from StarWars.com of both Balin Skull and Shin Hati, but the Norse kind of hey, you got the stream to work right. The Norse kind of type font was really cool. Like the wolves chasing each other, and then actually here in the middle, you can actually see there's a piece of artwork that I'm going to draw a blank on right now, but you can actually just see it very faintly. It's above Skull and Hati chasing after one another in the background to represent the characters. And so I just really love compositionally how this one just kind of came out. And I have a variation of this too that looks very similar, but just kind of a slight shakeup, because when we do one title card, I'm usually doing three. So I do one for the YouTube channel, one for streaming, or one for our streaming service behind the scenes that you see as a background, and then a square one that goes for iTunes and all of that stuff, iTunes
and that's just basically, you're having to almost recreate it, because it's all different images, sizes, so you've got to reshape things and move stuff around to make it work. It's not like we just take it and press a button and it happens.
Exactly. But this is just one that like everything just kind of fit together, and it came together so quick, and I just absolutely love it. And then I'm going to flip through these. These are the A New Hope ones. So the TV, so I wanted these to feel like they were from the 70s and 80s, right? So like the TV is this old school style, and this is an AI image of a TV. That's the only thing that's AI. The rest of these are either stills from the show or from a poster. Mm-hmm. But the interesting part is like I did things to make it look more vintage on the screen. Of course, it's all carved up and masked appropriately, but there's also these little elements here, like it's like a reflection on the screen and whatever. And then you'll see some of the text fonts and everything change a little bit as I get used to this. As a car goes by that you get to edit out. You're welcome.
Yeah.
But again, each one like capturing that moment in the show, you can see the reflections all around here.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. And again, it's really subtle stuff, but this is what was challenging though for each one of these episodes. What's a key moment they could actually get a decent image for? And like the secret of this one, like Han, when they're in the garbage, when they're about to go in the garbage chute and they're shooting, and they're arguing with Leia. I love this because this image, like you can see it's so misaligned, the blaster bolt with the blaster. Right. And then if you zoom in down here, I'm going to zoom in here, you could see that this is like flat and square and everything else. It's just so perfectly 1977.
Yeah.
And so I had to capture it just so I could laugh at it. I think I may have mentioned it on that show too. And again, you can kind of see that I started messing with the Star Wars image, and I grab a lot of these official logos from like Disney Plus. Like you can inspect and look at their assets, and you can pull a lot of this stuff off their stuff, by the way.
Really?
Including videos. So not downloading content, but you can download kind of the May the 4th video that they had.
Yeah.
I actually was able to download from Disney Plus. And then we have the other stuff. Now this one was also cool. Again, this is not something I took a lot of credit for. Picking the right font is sometimes tough, but These were all of the badges from Celebration 2023, which were just so cool. And they actually had them all. I don't think I pieced these together. I think these may have been on the website, or maybe I did this. I remember, but it just looks so glorious. Like, this is just such a great image. They did an amazing job with the art, the hard art back at Celebration. And then I mentioned War of the Bounty Hunters. We did an episode 390, and we did this. But what I want people to appreciate now that they didn't appreciate then.
Dang it, pay attention.
So this is an image from the comic book. Boba Fett holding up his gauntlet, and he's looking at an image on his gauntlet, like a hollow, right? I was able to edit out that photo, and I was able to insert a wanted ad that I had created for that. And I'll show you the actual image here in a second. It says, "Wanted Albert and Jonesy for crimes against your beloved empire, 50,000 credits." And you can actually see the reflection in his helmet, in the T-visor. And it's all
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, and it's all scan line and everything else. But so here's like the raw image, and then here's the doctored image, and then you just you mask it, you flip it, you skew it, you blur it, all those good fun things. So and thus ends my presentation.
Props.
Thus ends my TED Talk. Thanks for coming.
Yeah. No, that I didn't catch any of that stuff, and I can tell you right now, you're not getting any of that with me. So the good times are over, my friends. You're lucky if you get a title card on the day of the show. No, I will do my best to live up to the legacy that you've created now with some of those title cards. Honestly, those are great. I didn't realize. I thought you were going to pick like 2, but you had way more than that, and so I'm glad you.
There's a lot of. I mean, the Book of Boba Fett ones actually look pretty good too. But that was using a style that you had kind of created.
Oh yeah.
So I didn't want to take credit for those because I was really just kind of continuing on the style you had created with the Mandalorian, and just kind of evolving a little bit.
I like the one that I did like was that first one I did with the red. It was like, I think it was the Mandalorian.
Yeah, that was one of the early Mandalorian episodes.
Yeah, and that had
a whole bunch fluttering in the background.
Yeah, exactly. And I had done some I was playing with textures and some other stuff, and I
used the hell out of those textures for like a year and a half.
I was reusing them the entire time. Like, I think when we were doing some of those episodes before, because it was just like you said, a template, and it was easy. The minute you stuck an image behind it, it made it pop, or made it stand out. So it was a lot of fun. But Paul says, "Wow, Jones is talented. Jonesy is talented." Yes, we knew that. Reader Reborn had to go, by the way. He said, "Thanks for everything." I'm sure.
Appreciate Reader Reborn. Yeah,
and in greater numbers. Okay. Let's see. I don't know where are we here.
What was one visual idea that looked great?
Yeah, one visual item that you thought was going to be like, oh, man, this is it. I got it. You nailed it, and then turned out not to be the case.
It's pretty much every image I download from, or that I try to screen grab from Disney Plus, because on your computer the resolution is so terrible.
Terrible. It's horrible.
And so I have an AI upscaler tool that will bring it up like ridiculous sizes and detail, and they've got like all these different types you can do it, but I'm constantly messing with those things. Or you get it and it's blurry. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not getting a 4K image through my computer because Disney Plus just doesn't allow it. And so how people are getting the really high quality stuff, I spent time trying to Google it, and I just couldn't quite crack the code. I didn't spend enough time to do it, honestly. But that was always the frustrating thing, was I knew an image I wanted from an episode. It was always when I had to grab something from one of the shows or something like that, and I just couldn't get the one I wanted, or there was always something wrong with it.
Yeah.
And I had to go in there and either doctor it, or sometimes I just like, screw it. We're just going to go with it. We're just going to roll with it. And so some of those in the live action stuff in particular are very difficult if they don't have a good image posted on StarWars.com. So the ones that turned out better probably came from an image I could download from StarWars.com, an official, screen grab that they had that was of higher image. But even then I had to go and dig through the website, inspecting and taking their code and like trimming off the way that they would limit the image size, or that they would doctor and compress it to try to get more of the raw image. And so your mileage varies, a lot.
Yeah. And a lot of the AI upscaler tools that we use today are better, and they certainly help, but it still doesn't fix everything, unfortunately. So it's still a lot of work that goes into it.
Yeah. Hey, Paul's Collectible saying he gets black screens when he tries to do screen grab from Disney Plus. There is a plugin for your browser called Awesome Screen Recorder and Screenshot. Give that a try.
Yeah. Or you can use Chrome. If you're on a Mac, you can use Chrome and turn off the hardware acceleration. It'll let you do a screen grab as well. But again, good luck on the resolution. It may not be what you what you want.
Yeah. It's just
Okay, if you had a redesign, this is something we've talked about. Let's talk about that too. But
this is what you're trying to do because you want to see what else to do with the logo.
if you had to redesign the Cantina Cast logo in a completely different style, what would the theme be? And what would you do with the logo? Because you and I, over the years, we've had different variations of the logo.
Yeah.
Either something you created or I created.
You've done most of those. Yeah.
Yeah, but that was, I'm like a one trick pony. That's about it, unfortunately. But if you had your chance, and I know at one point you were wanting to do it.
I've worked on it off and on for like 2 years. And
I know. And I said, nope.
Yeah. Generally what I would do is I would probably remove the circle from around it. And the problem we have is that Cantina and Cast, like from a design aspect, they're different. They're totally different lengths. And so they don't really work well to block together because then you get weird spacing or you can't really, it's really restrictive of what you can do with it. So I was trying to do more of a blocky. I love the idea of the Cantina with the little Wi-Fi going on in the moon and the sun. So I was trying to take out more of the circle and see if I could isolate that and then just kind of modernize the existing one as more of a transparent image without the big blocky circle. Because what we have found with the circle and with things that extend away from it is that when you put it on products, it doesn't always line up properly. When you put it on the sticker, sometimes it's misaligned, right? And some of those are just me being nitpicky about it. But I think it's important when you have, when you do designer processes, you want the best product for the products your people are going to go spend money on and buy, right? And so some of that is difficult to do. We've had some amazing partners that have kind of helped guide me and fix and help me address some of that. But over time, you want something that's very kind of predictable, right? So this is why you see a lot of logos that are just nice circles and all of the text is on the inside and they don't necessarily extend. But I love the idea of things that frame break. I did some title cards that were more comic oriented. Like they had two images kind of side by side. This is another one I saw on a comic book website. But I love the idea of frame breaks. And like basically all that means is you have a frame, but your character, your subject is outside of that framework. So they're holding an object that extends into the foreground while part of their body is still in the background. It just gives dynamic view to all of that. And I love that with the logo as it was designed. And it's such a classic logo. And this is what you and I struggle with is that I think agree, it's kind of iconic at this point. It's synonymous with the show since 2011. No, this logo came out in 2017. Right. But since 2017, I mean, almost 10 years, how many years is that? 8 years now. Is that right? Yeah, math is good. It's just kind of synonymous with the show and it just works, and it stands out. I love the colors. I love orange. So, it's really hard to design something you love so much. And quite honestly, when you change logos, Cracker Barrel kind of learned this. I think Audacity is about to learn this lesson because Audacity is about to change their logo. People get really upset. And it's really polarizing when you try to change your image, even if it's I like what you've done. They're like alternate things for events. So 10-year logo celebration 2019, 2022. Those were encapsulated the logo into it, but still something unique with the Chicago city skyline or Anaheim, like the Magic Kingdom. And then you were able to kind of add and subtract some elements to it too. And then the 10-year I thought was just brilliant, and so
it was fun. Yeah,
those are just amazing job. You did an amazing, great job.
Oh, thank you. It's not about me, but I appreciate that.
This has been, there's a lot of things. We've both done a lot of things over the years, not just me.
Yeah. Things that we don't want to talk about, things we regret.
Not many of those.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. And we toyed, was it the last celebration too? I think we toyed with like alternate colors as well. Not to get away from the orange, but we sold a couple shirts. I think it was one person, but whatever. But that was kind of fun too. But yeah, it's always a struggle. I had reached out to Mike about almost a year ago. Well, no, it was earlier this year, as a matter of fact. And I had asked him if he had the original image that was given to him for the, I've always liked the little Han Solo and Greedo logo. Yeah. And I was going to modernize that and use it as kind of a temporary logo. And I started working on it, never finished it. But so it might be something to do here at some point down the road. But
yeah. I see you, Jenny Wataro. Thanks for coming out. We appreciate you.
JW says, he just chimed in here as well, says, since Jonesy's level of excellence cannot be replicated, I think all future title cards should be done with hand puppets. I'm in charge now, so you may just get that. Table. Yeah, everything is on the table. Nothing is out. Right. Gary said logo would look cool if it was done in the Skeleton Crew style. I think
there's been some times where I've like, okay, can I go and restructure this with a similar font? Because I've got quite the font collection.
Yeah, I've seen that happen too. So, hey, Vader's girl made it out. Hey, Kat.
Awesome, take care.
Welcome. Let's see, where are we at? Okay.
Which thumbnail or graphic got the most unexpected reaction? Actually, probably not many. Which I understand they're kind of here for the show, not for the rest of it. So I don't hold that against anybody.
But you did I put that in there because I was like, man, you have such a good portfolio of artwork and thumbnails that again, like you said, sometimes it feels like underappreciated, but I certainly appreciate it, and I thought there was some good work. You obviously came with the goods and the receipts because I think you showed some of the best stuff that you've ever done. So.
Oh, there you go. Art Counter's bringing it too. Can we add a possibility of 90s era claymation? Let's bring Phil Tippett out of retirement. Yeah. Let's do it.
I'll see you. I don't think that's going to happen. I'll just go ahead and set that right now. All right, let's talk about the last section here, behind the scenes collaboration. So what's something that you've learned about Star Wars or the fandom in general that surprised you while you've been a part of the show, either producing, editing, hosting, whatever?
There were a ton of ways I could have probably taken this, but I think the two thoughts that I kind of landed on was the type of thoughts that we get in Discord and the comments or at meetups, really cemented that I think this show is kind of firmly like embedded in like our community aspect. And it's something that I've always wanted since I was a kid. Like you and I have talked about this extensively, like being able to sit around the table and talk Star Wars and just nerd out, geek out, get into all of the different details that there are, speculate on what we know, what we don't know, what we think we know, and all of those things together is just what has made like what I wanted when I talked to Mike about joining the show was I needed a hobby, but two was marrying that hobby with something that I was absolutely passionate about and loved doing and loved talking about, but never really had the outlet to do it where I felt comfortable and could really truly embrace it. And that's something that this show has really helped me kind of come out of my shell on and be able to interact with people at work about it in public. I mean, hell, at the last May the 4th that we went to, being able to go out there and interview kids and talk to their parents and talk about not only us, but like what we were doing and some of that stuff I just wouldn't be able to do. So it's I've learned a lot about myself in that and been able to open up in many ways and it helps that Star Wars is so ubiquitous now. I mean, it was always popular, but it was still kind of, frowned upon in pop culture. And like, it's what kids and nerds do, not men in their 30s and 40s and stuff, And so it was a little bit of a stigma that goes with it. And so I was really happy that finding a community and actually one of the things I've been most proud of with the show is that the show was predominantly men for a long time. And now we have, we see it in the chat too, a number of women that join us that are supporting the show, interacting with the show, been on the show, whether they're in industry capacity or just listeners or whatever it might be. And I'm so happy that we've created a space there to, kind of bring bring different walks and perspectives in. And the guys did this too. Mike and Joe did this too and had folks in. So I'm not taking any away from them, but I'm glad we've been able to grow that more prevalent support, more obvious support and inclusion in the show. That's been really important for me as well to do. And that's something you and I set out to do too, is how do we capture more women listeners? And I'm glad that we somehow achieved that, even if not through any direct doing of our own, except maybe just how we were presenting material and trying to be aware. We don't always get it right, but I'd like to think we get it right more often than we don't.
Yeah. I mean, we had set out to kind of, widen the proverbial net and, give, the voice, have a safe place for everybody really to kind of come. But, when we think about like Becca and what she's been through and her personal, journey through Star Wars and, it's just great that we have the support that we do. And I will say this too, like we've been very fortunate that we've had some really, really good supporters of the show, whether they're Patreon members or just people that listen to the show. Everybody seems to have a level head. We don't have a lot of jerks. Everyone, when things blow up and we're in the midst of, middle of season 2 of whatever Acolyte or, maybe The Mandalorian, there's always some knucklehead that pops in, that can't, on the chat and we kick them out or whatever. But for the most part, the people that follow the show, listen to the show, support the show, the people that we interact with, they're all pretty level-headed. They may not agree with what we agree with, or may not like what we like, but they're willing to listen to different perspectives, and it's always fun and interesting and appreciative that they're sharing their perspectives as well. As much as we ask for it, it doesn't always come in, but when it does, it's always like, oh wow, hadn't really thought about that. I may not agree with it again, but it's a very interesting take. And so I think everybody's been pretty good about that over the years, and it's been very consistent over the years too. It's not like something that's happened recently or we had to grow. I think it was a carryover even from when, Joe and Mike were doing the show.
And what's cool is, every once in a while we've had some folks who I think they're just trying too hard. And so when we've reached out to them directly or individually or even in the stream, like the ones who are the ones that we want to stay, usually they adapt and they hear the feedback and they do better. And then they are able to then express themselves in a way that's going to engage with the rest of the listeners in a live stream or whatever too, right? Or in Discord. And I think that's the other thing I've been appreciative is the ones that have had that feedback, and not everybody's received that feedback very well, and we've wished them well and removed them from our stuff. But
right.
There's been many who have stayed and who have, hopefully are still listening to the show, even if they're not able to participate in some of that as often, but who I think have been, I'm really thankful for them to say, okay, yeah, I was kind of trying a little bit hard. I was kind of coming in strong. Let's, let me see how do I adapt to this vibe that we've got. And, it worked out. And I'm really appreciative for those folks too that have they have that reflection and be able to come back and want to contribute to the greater whole rather than kind of pushing their own side of things. So
yeah,
we've had a number of examples of that. So I'm proud of our space we've kind of created for that. We've held some people accountable in that way, and then many people have responded positively to that. And when people have held us accountable, we've had to own up to that too. We've made some mistakes over here too.
Yeah,
and we have to come out and kind of say, these are the things that were said. It doesn't matter if what we intended is what's said. And, that we understand that it doesn't work, and so what do we need to do about that to kind of make it right?
Yep. It's been difficult, but
it's not easy. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not easy, but that's not an excuse either. So
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So what's the behind the scenes memory that fans would never guess actually happened?
Yeah, actually, I don't know. Some people may have known this was happening. This is actually pretty personal. So back I joined the show in 2018, and in 2019, 2020, I was going through really pretty severe depression. And I had a lot of insecurities on the show actually for a long time too. And when you and I would record before we went to the live stream, if you remember, there were times where I would completely forget what I was saying. There would be long pauses. I'd tell you I completely forgot. I'd be messaging Mike, hey, I effed up again, and I had this long pause. It's right here. Here are my notes and like all this stuff. And it was just
Mike was still editing the shows for us back then.
Yeah, Mike was editing the shows back in the first couple of years, and and like struggling with depression. The show was a good thing for it, but also it was showing some of the cracks too, as I was trying to do a lot. And it's not everybody wants to talk about that stuff because it's hard, when you're going through a lot of life changes in particular. But it was, what was funny is as I was starting to kind of get help and do a little bit better, and things started to even out a little bit. Then you and Mike threw this curveball of like, hey, we're going to start doing live streams. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me? Yeah, sorry.
You mean I'm going to go from like, and this was, I was trying to come back to the show in 2020. I was like, oh my gosh, you guys are, now I'm going to be on camera and I have to think of this stuff on the fly, and there's no editing. I mean, there's editing after the fact.
Right,
but,
yeah. But we're going. We're not stopping.
Yeah, and it was really uncomfortable for a while. It was really uncomfortable, but now I absolutely love it. Like I love talking to people, all the opinions that kind of come out and engaging with others, and it's kind of cool. I mean, it's not always perfect, and there's lots of things I'm not happy with, but you just kind of you kind of get there. But and then I think the other part is, and maybe if you remember Ron Dale and maybe Jeff and maybe like Risk and some others, like we'd always talk
IPA Daddy.
Yeah, IPA Poppy. Yeah,
IPA Poppy. That's
we'd always talk beer and stuff, but I stopped drinking 2 years ago, and so that's another one that some people like was synonymous with like a beer conversation, and it was usually kind of highbrow beer conversation, talking about hops and different flavors and stuff like that. And yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I kind of miss those. But yeah, I haven't drank in a couple of years now, so also another kind of big life changing event for me that was kind of just a right move for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, when your body can't take anymore, and you notice things you don't like when anyway, just go on from all of that. But that's another thing that kind of changed with me too. So not super exciting stuff there, but important to kind of acknowledge. You don't always see the stuff that's going on, and when we come on here, you guys come on here for a good time. Come on to get the sob story. I mean, and quite honestly, we came out of a lot of challenges after Last Jedi, and we knew Mike was really struggling with the content and was kind of ready to go and done, and we didn't want to. I know we both felt strongly about here's the kind of show that we want to run, and we want to rebuild, and we want to build, and that stuff I didn't want to get in the way of it.
Yeah, well, you did a good job. I mean, stoic is not one word that it's a word that I would use, but it's not strong enough, honestly.
Well, it's not the right word for me either. I'm the furthest from stoic. I've tried to live the Mike Rondo lifestyle of stoicism, which Mike struggles with a little bit too, but that's a tough life, and that is not me. But I like people to enjoy what they're here for,
right.
And I'm glad that we can provide some of that. And you know what? It helps doing this show, and this show has been really helpful too, because I come on here and I can kind of forget everything that's out there, right? Mm-hmm. Beyond this curtain, everything just kind of falls away, and I'm sitting here having great conversations with one of my best friends. So, it's a good time.
Yeah. Thank you. JW says, one of my favorite Jonesy moments is him telling me to chill out. I was a little too hard on round 1 of Star Wars trivia. He was hosting, and then he reined me in. Super fun night. Yes.
So again, one of the favorite moments, like a brewery up in Illinois was like, hey, we want to have a trivia night. I was like, why don't we do Star Wars trivia? Steph was bartending there, and we hosted a Star Wars trivia, and Jeff came out for it. And this is one of those times where you have to really look at your questions. And see, like, I thought they were really, really easy.
Oh, that's right.
And people were like, these are not easy. Yeah. Jeff, he's an unruly kind of guy sometimes, but no, that was a fun time. That was a fun time. Clearly we did only one time.
Yeah.
Although I've talked about doing it with a couple coffee shops here in the Houston area that do trivia nights, and we've just not ever made it work. But so, who knows? There might be more opportunities for trivia nights for me to get it right eventually.
Steph says, I attempted to convince Albert into a montage and send him pictures from trivia. Actually, I got the pictures and they're great, and I will post. I think I'm going to post with Jonesy's approval. Maybe not. I don't know. I'll see if but I'll. I was going to post them on Patreon just because I just had no time to do a lot this last 2 weeks. Jonesy knows I've been just burning the midnight oil every single day, but a montage felt like the right thing to do. So maybe when he comes back for his 500th episode, that one return show, maybe I'll have something by then. But
can you do it to like the Family Ties theme song or something?
Yeah,
like that?
Exactly. Something like that. Full House is probably a better choice.
Full House.
All right. Just a couple more questions here. Which guest or moment made you stop and think, wow, this show has really come a long way?
Okay, there were a few items. So one of like, what the hell did we step into moment was Celebration 2019. We went to the podcast meetup, and I hope you remember this. You and I were walking, and this dude came up. He was sufficiently lubricated after a few beverages. He came up, dropped to he's like, oh my God, Jonesy and Albert Cantina Cast. At first, it was the first time anybody had like noticed who we were, or at least noticed who I was. Literally dropped to his knees and started doing like, I'm not worthy. We're like, I have no idea. Just no idea. We're like, just get up, man, get up.
Yeah.
It was both just mind-blowing and embarrassing. And it was not an ego type of trip. It was just like, what in the world is going on? Like, is this really what we're here for? Like, this is wild.
He was a cool guy, though. He was really nice.
He was once we settled him down, but he was pretty well lubricated. Yeah.
If you're still listening to the show, call me.
Right. Another one was we were doing 4 shows a week for quite a while.
Oh, yeah.
Like we were doing 2 on Thursday, 2 on Sunday. We were doing double headers, and that was pretty wild. And being able to start getting, wild, not always in a positive way, but
yeah, it was taxing.
And then also we were, we started getting some of the advanced reader copies and some of the comics and stuff like that in the books. Like that felt kind of cool. Like it's like, okay, we have connections now that we can benefit, and we can bring more content to everybody. And the one thing I liked about how we did some of that was that I hope we didn't flaunt it in people's faces. Some some channels out there and stuff will kind of make a big deal and make it seem like they're very special. We understand that we're just a name in a list, but we appreciate it, and we hope we're kind of doing it justice and bringing you guys content that's interesting and it's worth your time. But it was kind of cool to be able to have that opportunity to do it, and we're thankful for all of those opportunities. And hopefully, we've done it in a way that respects the publishers, but also respects you guys as listeners and fan of the material, of our kind of true perspective on it, even if it's more critical in nature sometimes, or whenever we gush about it, it's totally genuine in that way. Totally genuine in that way.
It kind of felt like the WGN interview was up there as one of those moments too, where I was like, wow, like, I mean, that was all SP, but
that was my next one. Yeah. It was just wild.
Yeah. And we had people calling in on the radio, and we were answering questions directly from them. And they were asking us about the not Last Jedi, but Rise of Skywalker. Or was it Last Jedi? No, it was Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker. The trailer.
Just seen the trailer.
Yeah, the trailer.
So that was a lot of fun, honestly.
Yeah, that one was really neat because, again, it's just a unique opportunity that you just don't, I don't know if you'll ever get it, right? I think the other one, I mean, and the kind of tag, the last one was also bringing Lauren on, was really cool, of saying, hey, we can actually bring on another person, having someone that's dedicated to books, and she does such a great job with them, and, cares so deeply about it and wants to do as much content as she's like capable of doing with her own time constraints. And man, she's like clockwork. She's so consistent with it, which I really appreciate, because it in the times where we've had inconsistency in our own schedules for the live stuff, because live really messes things up. It takes away your flexibility, right?
Yeah, it does.
But when you have Lauren kind of that backstop, right, and churning content out, it's like we've kind of finally got this. And the reason why some of the channel has grown in YouTube is directly attributed to her, right? And the consistency that she brought from her own channel, but also built new followers and stuff too. So it's a great blend of kind of what we do and her. It's almost like two different channels smashed into one, which I love, because I love the diversity of that type of content. I know some people believe you should got to do one or the other, but I love that we have a little of both, and and then we can blend her in with this show too from time to time and still draw on what she's doing. And so I think that's been really cool. And it's I'm so glad that she came on board a few years ago.
Yeah.
Because it's just been such a blessing for us.
And she's just the most sincere, like, honest, grounded in every way. What you see is what you get. I mean, there's no difference. What you see on screen is the way she is.
You take care of and protect her, Albert Padilla.
Off screen. Yeah, for sure. But she's a treasure.
Yeah. And then I think the last one in this category was when we finally took over the show. So in 2021, we talked to Mike about, like, hey, we want full control of the show. We own it. We set it forth. We'll figure out the commercial terms and all of that type of stuff. But we really took it over because the Patreon was kind of falling apart. Like, things were not going in a great direction. And we were still in this middle of this transition phase too, of even some of our listeners losing some of the traditional listeners after The Last Jedi and all of that. And then kind of creating our own way of doing it. Mike had to come in and step in for a bit in 2020. So things were a little confusing and all over the place. And we felt really strongly like, hey, we need to take control of this thing and actually do, put our own stamp on it and carry it forward as we are responsible for it now. We're the shepherds of this brand and everything else for it. And it felt really good whenever we started to see the numbers come up. We hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. None of these things are super, fantabulous, and they certainly dwindle in comparison to these massive YouTube channels, but they were big deals to us. And
it was a trend, right? We were starting to see a trend. It was a change.
Exactly. And not to put it, this isn't emphasizing money, but when we saw the Patreon grow, and it is triple what anything that we were able to do in any previous year, right? It's not about how much money it was making, because again, everything that y'all do literally gets put back in the show. Albert and I do not benefit from this whatsoever. I'm not getting paid out as I leave. I'm not taking anything with me. Everything that y'all put into it has been put right back into the show, or is saved to be put back in the show when it's relevant and necessary.
Mm-hmm.
But it's more that we were an investment case, right? Is that people wanted to invest and support us, and they wanted to do it in the numbers of people that were coming and in the amounts that they wanted to do. And that when we introduced new tiers, there were people excited to contribute and be a part of that, and whether they benefited from the perks or not. And so to have the faith of people that you're an investment case that they want to invest and do more with and be more engaged with, is such a special feeling. I mean, it's so humbling that you produce something that people actually, are proud to be associated with and want their name associated with and want their name called out, not for recognition, because they just want to be part of it with you. And
Yeah.
we want them to be part of it with us. I mean, it's such a great, just combination there. So that really meant a lot to me, just because to be valued in that way is pretty humbling and pretty special.
Yeah. And, behind the scenes, we have we actually meet annually. Like Jonesy and I get together and we kind of have we would have these annual meetings where we would talk about, okay, so, how are things going? We'd look at numbers, we'd look at content. What do we want to change up? What do we want to do differently? What's working, what's not? I mean, it just like, we'd run it like a business in a lot of sense. And the whole Patreon conversation always comes up inevitably, right? Because we got to pay bills. And so we've not struggled, but we've debated about, hey, do we do away with Patreon? Do we, there's probably more money to be made by doing more YouTube stuff. Should we go with that rather than doing Patreon? And we always have fallen back on, we love the fact that we've got a solid group of Patreon supporters. It's trended in the right direction over the last, 3 or 4 years or whatever it is, or it's even longer now. But the consistency that we've had, I mean, we've had people on that have been supporting us ever since you and I started the show. They're still there. They're still contributing, even if it's $2. And sometimes it goes to $5 and then they come back down to $1. Sometimes they leave and they come back, but they come back. Right.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That's really cool. I mean, it says a lot about, like, and we totally get it. Like, sometimes financial things happen, and to know that people, once they get back on their feet or things change for them, that we're thought of as like, hey, I want to go back and support them in some way. Right. That's super humbling. And it's just a credit to, it does speak to like the type of show that we do, the amount of time, amount of the effort, whether it's all the thumbnail stuff or, the editing, the technical stuff, or just the content itself. It does speak to, how well, we've done, and certainly your contributions. So, I mean, that's, like Fred said, those are massive shoes to fill. And I don't know that we're ever going to get anybody to fill those shoes, but, we'll certainly do our best to pick it up when you're gone.
Appreciate that. And yeah, thanks to Hard Counter. And he's recounting him and my story as well. I've known him for 20 years. And we had a meetup over Star Wars. We talked about going out to fan days out in Plano, Texas. And this is back during the peak of the Clone
days.
Wars, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so him and another friend, went out there and met me out there. And again, bonding over kind of an experience, and Star Wars kind of being at the heart of that in some ways, and experiencing that together. And, it's funny what you can do and bring things together with over content like this that we enjoy. And we had a lot more beyond Star Wars, of course, but it was definitely, that was our moment where things just kind of took off in a different direction too. So it just shows you the power of some of this material. It's not just, it's not just us talking on the radio or something like that. It's a lot of things.
One up says, I actually came here when Lauren came over. I used to watch her High Republic reviews on her channel. And you've been just a blessing, One Up, by the way. I just love every time you're on here. Gary says, I've listened since the last 3 episodes with Joa, but it's your Cantina cast that truly stands out in my memory. So I think that's a huge compliment, because I was a big fan of Joa and Mike, of course.
Yeah, they did such an amazing job for so many years.
They did.
Yeah.
And Mechmoss says, thank you for opening up about those challenges, Jonesy. You have such a steady vibe and a warm, easy tone. I couldn't even tell that any of that was happening, to be honest. You'll be missed. So,
thank you, Mechmoss.
Yep.
It's important to talk about some of that stuff, right? I mean, it's hard to talk about for a lot of reasons, but they're very real, and we're not the only ones experiencing it. So got to come together, right?
Yeah. All right.
Just a couple more
questions.
Here.
Two more here.
We're going to get to 2 hours, Howard. I'm going to make it happen.
What's the one inside joke or reoccurring gag you'll miss the most when you're not recording every week?
There's several here. So, sorry, there's so many. So we do a lot of pop culture one-liners and zings back and forth. Before the show, during the show, the puns we've done, the things we like to poke fun at. I mean, they're countless, and I can't even tell you.
Yeah. I don't think a lot of people get them, honestly. Like, they get them later, but not in the moment.
Yeah. But you and I we operate on the same wave. This is why I enjoyed doing the basement with you, because it was like this and just overload, right? Because the content was so it was so just packed, jam full of it.
Yeah.
But then you could also just lean into all of it. You know, it's a lot of fun. So yeah, all the pop culture stuff. The thanking of the Patreon members, like in the doing the live stream stuff at the end of the show. I'm really gonna miss doing those because they're kind of fun. And some of the usernames we have, like I've got a Brad Feeling is just great. Sharkman Dan. I mean, where else are you gonna get this stuff? It's fantastic. And I'm not poking fun at anybody. I absolutely. It's a highlight running through and like having to learn a new cadence and stuff. It's a weird thing that for my brain is just enjoyable. And then making you laugh every once in a while of how am I going to take what you say and doesn't always work out, but and sometimes those are the best ones when they don't work out. We're like, what? You know, but they're kind of insider jokes, I guess, if you will. So those are kind of fun. You always asking me stuff that's not in the show notes intentionally. I was like, you've got like a whole nother side quest of stories or of notes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then people won't really get this, but the last, I don't know, 6 months or so, it's a constant asking if it's an HEB night. So for those that are aware, HEB is a beloved grocery store chain here in Texas. But what's interesting about this, so Albert's usually got to do a late run at HEB and they're trying to close and they hate him because they see him coming and they have to keep the store open for him. But what's really funny is when it's not an HEB night, and then Albert forgets he needs to go pick up his oldest son from his job.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know what? And I gotta go pick up my kid. So it's always something.
Always something after the show.
Yeah, those are just always funny because after the show, sometimes we'll kind of talk about, hey, here's some things that we need to look forward to. We need to talk about. We need to kind of figure out like the business side of things or whatever it might be, or schedules or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Just kind of ironing things out. So we have these are the things we kind of need to work on for the week. But you're still doing real life stuff too, right? It's late when we get done with the show, and so the day doesn't end for the Padilla family. Yeah, those are the things that kind of always I think will stick with me for a very long time. I think
I'm gonna miss like doing and saying things that you're not expecting because I can tell when I get you caught off guard and crack up or whatever. But
right,
it's always fun to get you going on some of that stuff. Okay, last question. And I didn't put that last part in there, but I think you did. I hadn't thought about that. Did I? I don't remember.
No, that was all you.
Was it?
I just took your questions and just went with it.
All right. If you could describe my hosting style in 3 words, what would it be?
Yeah, it wouldn't be 3 words. It'd be 3,000 words with 12 questions, and I'd only remember 2 of them.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I think that's accurate.
That's probably accurate. No, I get it.
Yeah.
Go listen to the basement. I mean,
well,
that says everything right there.
It's funny. Albert will get on a roll, and there's so many things going through your head that you want to get out. And you're like, and I want your take on this, but let me get this out first.
Yeah, but let me get this out first.
And literally
then 5 minutes later.
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know that I remember half. And listeners probably does. I'm like, well, that's a lot to unpack. Like, where do I start? Because I don't know what this goes back to the depression thing. My memory is not as sharp as it used to be.
Yeah.
So there's only so many things I can remember. And so trying to remember them, because I'm so intent on, this is something else I've learned about myself in the last year or so. I listen so intently that if I start taking notes and stuff, I'll kind of drift in and out. And so it's just weird, like, how do I take notes while I'm listening and being engaging so I don't miss something, but also, not forget what the heck I'm supposed to be responding to. So. But man, it's, but no, I just thought it was super appropriate. A little opportunity to poke a little fun at you.
I appreciate it. And it's totally warranted. So thank you for that.
Okay, but what are the 3 words that you'd have to describe me then?
For your hosting style, I would say all too easy if I had to use a Star Wars quote. And I say that because
I think I know what you mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy. Like, I mean, it wasn't, I don't know. You and I kind of got off on the right foot. Like, it felt like it was very natural. I mean, we'd already spent some time, playing, what was it, Battlefield 2, I think. And
Battlefront. Yeah.
Or Battlefront 2.
And we were in Discord and we would talk music.
You were in Discord, we would talk music, right? So that the ice had already been broken, and it was just a matter of, just pairing us up. So, and I don't know that we had really even talked about Star Wars much, to be honest, even before we started doing the show. Right? I don't think we ever did. It was all just other stuff, pop culture, mostly music at the time.
Yeah. Tom Petty, yeah.
Tom Petty.
When Tom Petty died, yeah.
Yep. Ozzy Osbourne, Black Sabbath. We talked about a bunch of Texas bands and stuff. But it was very easy to just have you come in and then just be very reliable and very steady. And I know you've been very transparent about some of the stuff you were going through, but I needed you to be there for a lot of these shows because, like you said, there's so much going on. And I've made this joke before. Sometimes I have to tune you out because I'm like intent and I'm listening, but there's 8 billion other things that are going on, whether it's I'm watching the time or the comments or the show notes, or I've got to pull up a video or whatever it is that I have to tune out. But I know I can count on you to continue going, and you won't leave me hanging either. So when it's time to turn it over back to me, you give me something to go off of, right? Or you pick up where I fall and that sort of thing. So it's been very easy. Like if your hosting style has been easy for me to adapt to, and it's made the show what it is. So again, it's just big shoes. It's difficult to even think who's going to, not that I'm, if you've heard the Patreon show, you kind of know where we're going. I don't technically have a backfill right now. Lauren's got her stuff. Fred's got his stuff. I've got some people that have said, hey, if you need me to come on and help out, I totally will. I'm absolutely going to take people up on those offers, but I'm not looking to backfill you right now. I mean, it'd be great to have a permanent host, but in the meantime, the show may just change for a little bit. But the idea of, who can come on and bring everything that you bring based on everything we've just talked about right now, it's like an impossible mission, I think. So all that to say, like, it's just been really fun. It's been an absolute pleasure, absolute blast to get to know you the way we have, to become like one of my best friends and somebody that I can talk to you about not Star Wars stuff, even, which we've done plenty of. My kids love you. I had to tell every one of them that this was your last show. And they were like we were losing their, uncle or something. It was sad. I'm like, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
He's just not going to be on the show. Stop crying. Get back to work. So yeah, I mean,
Did your wife ask if you were leaving too?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. But it's been really challenging too, because like in some ways this is, there's a lot of stuff that needs to happen, and I feel like I should be sad, but I'm not, because you've done such amazing work here. You've had such a long tenure, 499 shows, almost 8 years worth of work. The number of hours that you gave at the very top of the show that you and I have spent together just talking about stuff. This is all things that, I can always go back on. I'm very proud of everything that we've done. Your kids, my kids, they're going to be able to come back on and watch us when we're long gone. They can see all this stuff and see all the jokes that we've done and all the time that we spent together. And so it has been, in one way, it feels like it should be a sad thing, but it's not. I'm really happy that you're going on to do other things and, spend time doing stuff that you haven't been able to do. And for all the reasons that we've talked about too with the show, like, it just takes a lot of your time. It really does take a lot, and it has to be something that you absolutely love doing day in and day out. And then when you get to that point where it's not, then, being able to be big and say, hey, I need to move on, or it's time to call it before things start turning south. It makes me happy to know that you're going on to find other things to do with your time and not have to have this burden on your shoulders. Now, I'm not saying that's a burden. I don't want to put words in your mouth, right? But
no, I appreciate all of that. I think I was reflecting a little bit on what you were saying a minute ago of the like how we just kind of gelled. I think some of it is because you and I had such like similar engagement with the books and the content that we consumed, and for some reason it all stuck, and we were able to really have dynamic conversations across the board. Like, it didn't. One of the things that's hard to kind of replicate sometimes is when you can jump from topic to topic, and you can pull from books, or you can pull from TV shows, you can pull from the obscure crap, the comic books, short stories. That's kind of difficult to find someone that has that breadth that'll stick with you a little bit. And for whatever reason, what you and I have consumed, aside from West End games, which I'm surprised you didn't put into the show notes here somehow,
right?
A lot of our history is very similar in that regard, different approaches to it and how we've done it, but exposure to it and how in depth we are. And what's kind of cool is we see a lot of our listeners have that same depth that they're able to follow and pull some of that out too, right? And some of these stories that we used to have. And so I think that's been one of the really cool things. You kind of get lucky sometimes with it. And I kind of have to give credit to Mike Rondo a little bit too, of, because he kind of handpicked. I think Joe and him, I think, both kind of picked you, but he picked me because he thought we would be a good compliment to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I couldn't have agreed more. I mean, clearly we've been doing this for a long time, so something has worked, right? And we both have thoroughly enjoyed this. So it's thanks to Mike for kind of help bring this together too. And man, if I start taking too much, I'm gonna start crying and stuff. And people ask me, "Are you gonna cry tonight?" I was like, "No, I think I'm good. I think I'm good." And I was like, "Well, there's gonna be times where I'm like, I don't know, and already feel like nose running and stuff."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Gotta close this out soon," but I'm trying to get us to 2 hours. But
Don't
but
do
no,
that,
it's
you
been-
jerk. That's just more time I've got to edit. Remember?
and my parting gift to you, my friend.
Right. It's going 2.5 hours now.
Yeah, but no, this has been. I mean, I've said it a number of times. When we start this show, everything goes away. All the BS that's going on in life, all the things we got to do after the show or the next day or what happened before it, is a way for just us to just kind of come together, be friends, have fun conversations, even if we're kind of unenthusiastic about some of the content sometimes, but we still make the most of it and we make something fun. And every one of those moments, like I come away with it, like I'm glad I did this show tonight. Like I didn't realize I needed this show. Maybe I didn't want to do it that night, but when I leave, I'm like, man, I'm glad I did that. And then you're you're one of the main reasons why that is, because spending time with one of your best friends to be able to do it, someone you call a brother, is pretty special.
Yeah. All right.
There we go. All right, well,
There you
you
go.
broke the streak.
Broke the streak, man.
It's your fault.
Well, I guess I don't know what else there is to say, man. I love you.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you.
I love you too, man, and thanks for everyone for coming out. I mean,
Yeah,
man,
a lot of people come out.
a lot of folks. I wasn't sure if people were going to make it, and we're really late on the stuff in the evening, but really appreciate coming out. Yeah, all the people in the live stream: BDN 8183, My Star Wars Guy, Sky, JJ Skywalker, Steph, Tim, Gary, Kathy, One of Us CP, Music Train, Jeff, Reader Reborn, Jorge, Alex, Hard Counter, Paul's Collectibles, Jenny Wataro, Only Vader's Girl, Mech Moss. If I missed anybody, certainly not intentional. My sincerest apologies, and I would say I get it right next time, but Albert will have to fill in for me there and then kind of couple that one together. So, but
Yeah, it's little things like that. Like, crap, I got to do that now. Yeah.
well, you just
I'll get used
I
to
don't know what you do. I don't have any advice there, but But you know what? I mean, seriously, thanks everyone for coming out. It means a lot for y'all to be here. Thank you for all the notes on social media, messages on Discord. It really warms my heart, and I'm glad that you've enjoyed what we're doing, and I've certainly enjoyed interacting with all of y'all too. So, for those I'm just now interacting with for the first time, I hope it's not the last time. For those I have interacted with before, man, I'd love to keep in touch, and if you're ever through the Houston area, give me a shout. Love to catch up with you sometime.
Yep. And for anybody that that hasn't caught the Patreon show, so I'm going to take a break just until probably the end of October. I've had a chance to talk to Lauren and Fred. We're planning on the show's going to continue just without Jonesy. And, we've got some things coming up like Visions, and there's some books coming out, and, we've got some other topics that we want to fill in, but I just got to regroup and get everything together. So expect a show sometime in that first week, November, likely going to be a lot of coverage for Star Wars Visions. That'll be a lot of fun to cover. And, Jonesy, you are always welcome to come back. I think you owe us at least one more show so that you can get to 500.
I tell you what, I will make you a promise.
Okay.
If Mando and Grogu hits $1 billion globally, I'll come back and talk Mando Grogu with y'all.
I don't
If
know
it's
if
$1 billion.
that's going to happen, but
Right.
okay.
I mean, the other thing
maybe
is like
globally. Okay, globally, probably. Okay.
globally, yeah. I wouldn't say domestically because that seems unreasonable.
That
I
seems
think it's going to challenge. I don't think $1 billion global either, but
Yeah, we'll see.
And also maybe if I cut my hair, I always promised I'd do it like Kanan style. So maybe we'll see if we do.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
I'll come out to y'all's place and you record it there.
Cut her out with the knife.
Make your wife do it so I don't cut myself or something.
Yeah, but yeah, you got to come back at least for one more show, and then again, doors always open. So you let us know. But yeah, all right. Well, we're gonna get out of here. This is the time where I say, Jonesy, any final words? And I guess this time I mean it.
Yeah, may the force be with you all. I really do appreciate it. Love you guys. Thank y'all so much.
All right. Well, with that, we'll leave it there. And I don't know. I'll see you on another show here sometime in November. But I'm going to try to roll the credits. I don't know this is going to work. Just go with it, guys.
This is going to be a magical moment.
It's going to be a mess. All right. 3, 2, 1.
You did it.
You're still listening? Wow. That's amazing. Well, I'm here to give you the disclaimer. Normally we do a big, long, drawn-out disclaimer thing saying what's what and who's what and all that other stuff, but I think you guys kind of know that Lucasfilm and Disney have no affiliation with us at all, and we have none with them. We talk about Star Wars, which is their property, and all that other good, fun stuff, but I think you can tell which is our stuff and which is their stuff. If you can't, well, then send a lawyer to send an email to me, and I'll be glad to chat with them. Other than that, you know what's what, so that's your disclaimer.